What initially appealed to you about the script for Begin Again when it came along?
Well, that John was doing it was immediately interesting to me, and then I love this kind of romance that doesn't really take you to the Hollywood ending. I loved the relationship between Dan and his daughter, and I love. I love the way the music was really nicely interwoven with the story, but it doesn't dominate it, or you never feel like you're breaking for a musical number.
And working with Adam Levine, he plays a very good person who I want to punch in the face continually throughout.
Good. Yeah, that's the point.
Exactly, the intent. And he's got a sort of fairly established public persona, which is quite different from the rest of you. Yeah. What was he like to work with?
Oh, he was wonderful. I think that we all felt that it was really important that it was a musician that played that role, because frontmen particularly have this kind of incredible confidence that is really difficult to fake, and actors have been through far too much rejection to actually kind of often pull it off. So, and he's like a ball of energy and a totally natural performer. So he was really wonderful to work with.
There's an early scene where Dan's in the car listening to all these different snippets of and he's just getting increasingly kind of depressed. That was hilarious. How did you come up with that? Because they all seem to sum up one genre of music so well.
I did a lot of work finding those songs. I really did, because I actually shot the scene without music. And I was on a walkie-talkie to Mark Ruffalo, just describing songs to him and letting him roar at them. So I said, okay, here's a Talking Heads ripoff. Here's like a piece of shit music that's like a David Byrne ripoff, and he would ad-lib a line or throw something in, and he'd hear it on the radio coming in. But he didn't actually have any music, because that would have gone over his dialogue. And then I surfed various websites, and I have loads of demos of bands, stuff that people send me. And which I didn't actually use because it would have been insulting to them, but I sort of played that to our music supervisor, and then she went off hunting for sort of stuff. But it was a weird one to make, because we'd have to ring people up and say, that song that you sent us? Can we use it, but not in the context I think that you may have thought?
You've sung a little bit before. I think it was The Edge of Love, right? Mm-hmm. Were you intimidated by the prospect of singing this much, kind of?
Yes, yes, I was. I'm not a singer, and I don't really know how to do it. And I think in the script, it was lots of dialogue scenes, dialogue, and then a tiny thing saying, and then she sings, and then dialogue scene, and then she sings. And I didn't really think about it until I actually got to New York and thought, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. And then they gave me sort of some singing lessons, but they hadn't actually written the kind of the top lines or the lyrics for the songs. So I just sort of did lots of scales. Walked around and did lots of scales, and then about 2 days before I finally got given the lyrics, and we got into the studio and just sort of had to figure it out.
Well, I was quite lucky because my character's not meant to be very good. So, there was a lot more pressure on Keira because she really had to be great. So, you had to really believe that someone would hear this song and go, oh my God. With me, people had to go, oh God, like that. So that did make it a lot easier. But I had to learn the guitar. So I learned like 4 or 5 chords, and I wrote my own song. John said, why don't you write your own song, because I think it really should feel like a song that's been written by someone in the 5th year of their upper school. And so I wrote a song, and it really is the worst song in the world. It's called The 12th of Never. And but even and I knew I knew it wasn't good, but you know how like at the moment you're doing something, you get sucked in and go, oh, do you know what? I think this is pretty damn good, actually. I've got a feeling when John hears this, he'll probably go, well, that's going on the soundtrack. And so I played it to him. It's not alone, never alone. And he just went, oh, God, it's perfect. It is so shit. And I just went, yeah, no, that's what I was going for. Yeah.